So we got to talk about something that I find absolutely hilarious, and that is the fact that mainstream media obviously, clearly, it's so blatant. Like Stevie Wonder could see it. They hate Donald Trump. They hate this man with a passion, with a passion. Like it's honestly amazing how much they hate this guy. It's pretty crazy. And unfortunately, they've convinced some people in this country to hate him just as much, which is also quite wild. But anyway, uh, the crazy part is that with as much Trump derangement that they have, the guy is only becoming more and more popular. And of course, they're having to report on this. And I want to show you guys a couple of those clips because it's absolutely hilarious watching them cover this in the shock and awe on their face as they see these numbers, right? So, with that being said, let's dive in.
CBS News out with a new poll showing that Americans seem to be liking what they're seeing. But it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, I mean, look, but it's not just CBS. You know, I like to take an average of the polls. I like to take an average of the polls, and holy smokes, I mean, look at what the difference is between now versus 8 years ago during the first Trump term, right? This is Trump's net approval rating on February 10th. You go back to 2017, Trump was already underwater at minus 5 points on the net approval rating. That's approval minus disapproval. What a difference 8 years makes. He's on the positive side of the ledger at plus 4 points. And again, it's not just the CBS News poll. We're talking about the Gallup poll. We're talking about the Ipsos poll. We are talking about the Pew poll. All of these respective pollsters have Trump in a better position now than they did 8 years ago. The bottom line is Americans are far more likely to say they like what they're seeing now versus what they felt during Trump's first term.
Okay, so how rare is this? Are you going to show us sort of where we're at now and how rare it is that this number
so
changes?
I want you to take a look at this plus sign, right? Compare that to the negative sign. Being on the plus side of the ledger, right? In positive net approval territory, a positive net approval rating for Donald Trump. Again, whoa, 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 whoa. Entire first term, just 11 days, Donald Trump had a net positive approval rating. Compare that to the second term, just so far. Every single day of Trump's second term so far, he has been on the positive side of the ledger. 21 days, all 3 weeks. That's already 10 more days than he was in his entire first term. So again, this is just another sign that Americans are far more likely to like what they're seeing in his second term than they were during his first term.
He also won the popular vote in his second term, so it stands to reason that there would be more people that would approve of some of what he's doing. Is there something that Americans say about why it is that they like him now more than they did back in the first term?
You know, I think one of the things that's so important for politicians is for folks to believe what they're saying and that they're keeping their campaign promises. So I think this gives you a pretty gosh darn good idea of what may be going on. Trump's doing what he promised to do. You go back to April of 2017, it was just 46% of all Americans who said that Trump was doing what he promised to do. Compare that now to February of 2025. You know, there was a good show that was on during the 1990s called A Different World. That is what's going on right now. We're living in a different world. 70% of Americans say Trump is doing what he promised to do. Again, compare that to April of 2017 when it's just 46%. When Americans are 24 points more likely to say that you're doing what you promised to do, it's no wonder that your net approval rating is much more likely to be on the positive side of the ledger than on the negative side. And so far, what we're seeing, again, is Americans, 21 days so far versus just 11 days during his entire first term, that Trump has a positive net approval rating.
Yeah, and you know, the crazy thing is, if they're reporting on these so-called poll numbers, they're higher than that for Trump, 1,000%. Because if you remember, in all of these polls that, like, people like Harry Enton, who is the guy you just saw there in that clip, all of these polls that he was reporting on, all of those polls were saying that Kamala and Trump were completely tied. And if not, Trump was behind by 1 point. And Trump was going to take all of the women. He was going to, or not Trump, Kamala was going to take the women vote by a massive margin. Iowa was going to go to Kamala. Y'all remember that? All of mainstream media was talking about these polls, man. Iowa slipping away from Trump. Oh my goodness, this spells disaster. Oh no. So, if they're covering these polls with favorable Trump numbers, these numbers are even better than what they're reporting. 70% say that Trump is doing exactly what he promised. I don't buy that. That's definitely up towards 90%. Definitely up towards 90%. What is he doing that he didn't promise, right? Everything Trump promised on the campaign trail, he is currently doing. Currently doing it. Full stop. But, hey, listen, CNN isn't the only people that have had to report on Trump's favorable numbers. Face the Nation has too.
Our CBS poll finds that a majority of Americans, 53%, approve of the job he's doing. That's a better approval number than he ever reached during his first term in the White House. Joining us with more is our Executive Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto. Good to see you, Anthony. What's driving this?
I will keep it simple, Margaret. He is doing, in the eyes of the public, what he said he would do.
Bingo. I mean, it's really that simple. The guy is doing exactly what he promised. And that is something that is rare from a politician these days, which says something because Trump isn't a politician. He's an outsider. And sometimes that is what it takes to get things done. Actually, I think I dropped a YouTube short on something like that. But anyway, yeah, but not only those polls, right? There's other numbers as well that are very, very favorable for Trump, but not only Trump, Republicans in general.
Well, first off, what's going on here is, remember in term one, there was all that big opposition of Donald Trump. Democrats hated him. Well, right now, Trump's net approval rating among Democrats is underwater, way underwater at minus 78 points. But the Trump base is consolidated behind the Republican president to an extent that we really did not necessarily see in term number one. Look at this. His net approval rating is plus 84 points. So more.
Yeah, see, it's stuff like this. Like, I don't buy that it's 84. I have yet to see a Republican, a true Republican, right, come out and speak out against Trump in a bad way and say, nah, I don't approve of Trump's stay in office thus far. Like, I have yet to see any Republican say anything like that. As a matter of fact, I've seen Democrats say that they approve of what Trump is doing because he's doing what he promised. So this number has to be higher than 84. This number has got to be well into the 90s, and this number is probably a little bit lower than this as well. So, but that's just my humble opinion. Y'all can let me know if you've seen any videos of Republicans complaining about the job that Trump is doing. Let me know. But I haven't seen these clips. I haven't seen them at all. But I have seen clips of Democrats complaining about the Democrat Party, saying that they'll never vote for the Democrat Party again. Actually, I made a whole video on one guy. I believe his name is Isaiah Carter, if I remember correctly, on X. But yeah, former Democrats, hey, I'm never voting for a Democrat ever again. Like, I see these types of videos, but I don't see videos of Republicans complaining about the job that Trump is doing. These numbers got to be better than that.
Republicans are behind Donald Trump, then Democrats are opposed to Donald Trump, and that is lifting him up and giving him that positive net approval rating, despite the fact that he's losing among Democrats and losing among independents.
So are there other groups in this that are making this, different? I mean, independents, Democrats, Republicans, isn't that everybody?
Yeah, that is everybody. But it's not just the margins that you post among these groups. It's what percentage of the electorate that they make up. And Donald Trump and the Republican Party has changed the electorate. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at party identification, Democrats versus Republicans. You go back to 2017, 5 points more of the electorate was Democrats than Republicans. You go to 2021 when Joe Biden was starting out, look at that. 6 points more of the electorate was Democrats than Republicans. But look at what's happened in February of 2025. Look at this. Republicans, there are more Republicans in the electorate than there are Democrats. Republican +2. So Donald Trump and the Republicans have remade the electorate. They've turned some people over from being Democrats or independents to become Republicans. New folks have entered the electorate who are more Republican leaning. And so when you combine that with the fact that Republicans are really, really behind Donald Trump, all of a sudden you get a winning recipe whereby you break the normal rules of politics and give Donald Trump that positive net.
Yeah. So, and I would feel that that number is higher than that as well. But that's just my humble opinion. Like, I don't think it's Republicans +2. I think it's got to be Republicans +3 or 4 at least. When you have people like Scott Presler, he tweeted out something like a few days ago, and I think I actually reposted it. Scott Presler had tweeted out that Pennsylvania was not very far away from flipping Republican. Oh crap! I wanna find that. See if I could find that repost. But that is absolutely incredible. Okay, yeah. Here it is. So Republicans are 89,519 active voters away from flipping Pennsylvania from blue to red. 90,000 people. 90,000 from flipping an entire state from blue to red. First off, shout out to Scott Presler because he's doing some phenomenal work, and I've always said that, and because it's true, right? We have seen the work that he's been putting in, especially in a place like Pennsylvania where he's been, and now we're getting close to actually flipping an entire state from blue to red. And he says he's going to go to New Jersey next, so that's going to be really cool to see. But yeah, I feel like that number, that what was it, Republicans +2, has to be 3 or 4. Has to be 3 or 4. That's just my humble opinion on it. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Also, Hakeem Jeffries was confronted with Trump's good numbers. Listen to what he said.
Donald Trump's favorability rating is actually higher than it ever was the first time around. Let me ask you, a recent poll by Marquette looked at several of the things that he has done or says that he is going to do, and 63% favor federal government's recognition of only 2 sexes. 60% favor deporting immigrants who entered the United States illegally. 60% favor expanding oil and gas production. 59% favor declaring an emergency at the southern border. Is there anything you are seeing that Trump is doing that you are in favor of, that you think is the right thing?
Let me say, as it relates to all of those issues, we're just at the beginning.
Donald.
Oh, man. Goodness gracious. You answer the question by basically not answering the question. Quite interesting, if I do say so myself. Quite interesting. But, hey, man, we're winning, baby. And it's beautiful to see. It is beautiful to see, and we're continuing to add more and more people to the party every single day. Every single day. Because we are the true party of accepting others, right? It's not truly the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party will only accept you if you toe the party line, if you repeat the line. Y'all remember Joe Biden said that? Repeat the line. Oh man, that's who the Democrat Party voted for. Goodness gracious. But yeah, they will only accept you if you repeat the line, right? If you repeat the talking points, if you follow the script, so to speak. You must fall in line, or else you're not allowed to say anything against Democrats, right? You're not allowed to speak out against Democrats when Democrats do something stupid. Because if you do, you're ostracized, and they call you a right-wing, a far right-wing extremist, which is just crazy to me, and why I love being a part of the Republican Party, because we're smart, and so we see that Democrats are pushing people away, so we're like, hey, come on over, brother, come on over, sister, hey, how you doing? Hey, welcome to the party. You vote for Trump now, huh? Hey, okay, yes, sir, and we just accept people in. While the Democrats like, no, you got to repeat the line. If you don't repeat the line, then go over there. I'm just like, okay. All right. We'll take more people, I guess. Man, Democrat Party is just some idiots, bro. I'm just saying. That's the only way to explain it. The only way to explain it. Because stuff like that is just like common sense. Why would you push people away from your party that you need to vote for your candidate? Like, duh. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all, man. Thanks for tuning in as always. Peace and love. I'm out.